afternoon, everyone. This is RAND. Welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Tuesday, June 18, 2024, a little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We're having a Time for Change call tomorrow night. And we're going to reveal a lot of things that people are having difficulty comprehending, that are very confusing. We know that there are many great truths in our universe, as there are stars in the sky. And yet, just like the billions of trillions of stars that exist, not all truths are created equal, as we know. This universe is not just made up of black and white colors. If you were to go off this planet, and you would go out into space, interstellar space, and you would get a view of the expanse of it. And you'd be blown away as to the amount of colors in that space. Massive. Every color you can think of, and colors you have never seen before. But it's always depicted to us that it's black and white. You have black and then you have the white. And that's it. No colors or anything. If you see colors, that's because of if you look up into the sky and you see something that's kind of shimmering and it's different colors, and they'll say, well, that's just the planet doing that. That's Earth doing that. The atmosphere, the heat. So everything's in a neat little package explained away. Unless you're curious, unless you have childlike curiosity, front and center. Then you go, well, wait a minute. See, it's a rainbow of all sorts of flavors. There's a multi-dimensional cosmic playground out there. And it also resides within us through the gods that we are. We live in a highly diverse intelligence system which contains various degrees of truth. And so not every truth will impact us the exact same way. The bigger a truth is, the more it will expand our reality. Smaller a truth is, the more it will shrink and contract our experience of this life. Now, if you look from different viewpoints, good, bad, you start to understand that the small truth is whatever you want to call them, the bad guys keep throwing out there in front of the people of this planet. The small truth. Now, the small truth will shrink and contract our experience of this life. Makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? The good news is that we don't have to decide what is a big truth and what is a small truth. Our physical body will let us know. For our heart is the best guide for seeing how expansive or contracted a truth actually is. Whenever we discover a larger, more profound truth in this life, a little miracle happens. Everything that once felt hard, heavy, stuck inside us suddenly becomes exalted and liberated. We feel lighter than air. We're filled with a natural, spontaneous joy inside, which flows as freely as the wind. The mind stops thinking and we experience our own source of consciousness. From here, we see life from a much more expanded perspective. It can happen within milliseconds. And it's one of the biggest truths I've come across, and others have come across as well, was the first lesson in A Course in Miracles. And it's a great one. I refer to it a lot. It simply states, that which is real cannot be threatened. That which is unreal does not exist. Now, some people, when you first look at that, you go, well, that doesn't make any sense. It may take people quite a while to understand or comprehend it. That which is real cannot be threatened. Think about this. What is it that feels threatened inside you? What is this personality, self, ego, whatever, super id, on and on and on? Or the thing you call you, which defends itself when feeling attacked or provoked? What is this little you who has a need to be on guard and protect itself, trying to assert itself, attempting to achieve something important or worthwhile with their life? And then, who is this overly strong, confident, all-important you who compensates for the super small, unimportant you? It's the one who has been attempting to make your life secure by feeling self-important, accomplished, met in deep embrace by their beloved, and all the while is feeling a deep and constant separation from God. Who we truly are has nothing to do with who and what we think we are. Whatever we may think of and conceive of about ourselves with the mind can only be a thought. And this little thought is too small to be who or what we are. Who and what we really are is beyond any spiritual understanding of the mind in this moment. And only this moment we can find what is actually real. And this real thing is the only thing that liberates us and binds us at the same time. That which is real, the real you, does not change. Ever. And this essence is what remains the same for all eternity. One might say, you mean to tell me that other than the God that I am, everything else is not real? Yep. Perhaps the most pivotal enlightening truth is understanding how all identification with the ego is based in some form of what? Fear. If we are not experiencing a state of oneness, unity, love, connection, relaxation, and bliss, we are hanging out in some quality or version of fear. The ego is clinging to some thought or a process of thoughts which believes deep down that it is not one with the divine. It thinks it is not loved, accepted, embraced, or enlightened. Quote from Osho, great one. The more creative you become, the more godly you become. When your creativity comes to a climax, when each moment of your life is filled with creativity, you live in God. God lives in you. Enlightenment is simply realizing again and again and again how to remain non-identified with one's ego. This enlightened state is a pure seeing, understanding how the ego is the greatest illusion. The ego is the greatest illusion of them all. To intimately know and become identified with the real self, that which cannot be threatened, is the only true path to total freedom there is. All other paths lead to some form of suffering. It requires no basic standard of ethics, codes of spirituality, or religious background needed to arrive. You simply experience yourself as the essence of consciousness that you naturally are. The ego. Now, take a guess, how many of us on this planet? The ego, who we think we are, has some truth to it. Yet it's just not a very big truth. It's a smaller truth, which only castrates our ability to expand into love, trust, and a feeling of oneness. Ego is a fear-based program that is based in the opposite experience of trust. Whenever we are living in trust 24 hours a day, we start accessing all the wisdom, all the knowledge known to all the saints, masters, enlightened beings throughout existence. We step into the greatest experience of our lives. We find our real true selves and know that we are the real masters of our destiny, not something out there. Now, when we know our real nature, we can allow life to play its ego personality role through us. And somehow, not get in the way. We can sit back, go with the flow, enjoy the ride. We can remain fascinated by this life, learning how we are here to serve others, take care of our body, and simply let the all-intelligent life force move through us. This state of perpetual enjoyment of life is real mastery. When we remain free from all forms of ego identification, we cannot help but to enjoy all aspects of this life. We allow a greater love to always guide our course and help us live with ease, grace, in every way. And as Gangaji said, the choiceless truth of who you are is revealed to be permanently here, permeating everything, not a thing, and not separate from anything. There's a divine orchestra of spiritual energy and consciousness happening all around us all of the time. We aren't always aware of it because our minds are so distracted and busy with those all too important things of this physical world. It's only when everything stops from some seemingly random event that we are thrown back to our real selves and can see, feel, and taste the bigger picture. In a few brief moments, the mind drops its game, and we understand how divinely perfect everything is. A few weeks ago, give or take, something occurred with this planet that some people, it's interesting how we have events with ourselves. And we have these, I don't know, you could maybe call them epiphanies or whatever, where your body experiences waves. Now, you cycle it in different ways. You interpret it in different ways. Some people interpret it that something's going on with their body, and the fear comes in, right? Others just say, you know, this is just frequencies and energies going on. Now, doesn't it make sense that the frequency of this planet has increased exponentially? Okay? The frequencies of everybody on this planet are increasing exponentially. Well, how can that be? We, the collective consciousness, because we are all part of the collective consciousness. Collective consciousness is all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. The collective consciousness is in a advancement state, which means we're divine perfection, and we continue to step up into higher and higher and higher levels of divine perfection by all of us experiencing different lives and different throughout existence and beyond. All operating, and all that information is being literally directed into the one, right? Which we all are, the source, right? Source creator, of which we are. So the things that most of us have been programmed to believe, okay, that comes from out there, not in here. That's all happening out there. Now, you understand that most of the people on this planet do not know. They don't know. Okay? Many of you have written me and talked about this, that the interface with people is very frustrating because, in fact, I just had a gal talk with me about the fact that you could hit them upside the head with a 2x4. And they would not wake up. So what's really going on? How come the whole civilization? Well, as I said a few weeks ago, who is really making all of these shifts on this planet? Is it a group of thugs or baddies or goodies or whatever? What do you... Now, we've bought into this as a civilization for a long time. Not a negative. But doesn't it make sense that since we are all gods within these bodies, pure consciousness, bliss, joy, love, divine, tranquility, peace, happiness, all the time, and that we are master manifestors, omnipotently powerful supreme beings that never die, right? We're eternity. We have had many, many lifetimes, many experiences, and we continue. This is an endless journey. So you amp it up. We are going through a major, massive photon energy field. We'll be going through it for a few thousand years. So it's not small. It doesn't dissipate. It doesn't just go away. And this planet, all the planets in our solar system are being bathed in it. What happens when you have a love frequency, deep eternal love frequency? Then you have a real low, dank frequency. The love frequency is number one. There's no other frequency stronger than it. So what happens? Well, at first, when you shine the light on something that is used to the dark and has never seen the light, it's very shocking. It's very difficult for the eyes to adjust, the skin to adjust, and all of that. But if it's done in increments such as it's doing now, not as sunlight, but photon energy, so what's happening is that slowly but surely, the pure evil is being eliminated from the planet through the efforts of some of us. So all of our combined God frequencies that we emit 24/7 from these bodies, grouped to know that what has occurred on this planet has been one heck of a education for us through many lifetimes, and now is being transformed. So what will that mean? What that means for us is that we will experience an entirely new life. That's it. I mean, we will experience an entirely new life. Nothing like this one, or many of the others. Why is that occurring? We've decided as a whole, many parts throughout all existence, that it's time that we have decided to do this. This is a higher understanding over all this so-called galactic stuff and everything. This is way up there. Okay? This is what creates universes. Planetary system. Creates life. Fills this system. Many others with life. Teeming. The universes are teeming with life. Flooded with life. Of all sorts and kinds. Bicamerals, and it's not a label. A bicameral means right and left brain. Okay? And they sometimes have voices, tell them they have voices in their head. The prime example of a bicameral on this planet is a schizophrenic. Look up the true meaning of a schizophrenic, and you'll understand. Then things will start coming into play and into light on why this vaccine was so effective on the population of this planet. And it was, and continues to be. Okay? Why? How can that happen if you have a planet majority, not all, but the majority of the planetary population aware? It wouldn't. Wouldn't even have got off the ground. But since the majority is bicameral, and many of you interact with bicamerals because you just are not able, they're not awake at all. So you're not going to be able to convey to them a truth, a big truth, that this, and this is false. It's like I said, they'll leave the body and they'll go and they'll come in another lifetime. Hell, they get it. And people say, what about the photon energy field? That's assisting. But when you're totally through an illusion, disconnected, and the only way that can happen is that it's an illusion. It's not real. But you're disconnected from the God that you are. And you purely live in the material physical world. That's it. Many people believe that there is nothing after you leave the body. That's it. Okay. And everybody believes a different way. It just depends on how they've been taught. That's it. How they've been programmed. There are people on the planet being mind wiped right now and they don't even know it. Through different effects, applications, approaches. Usually played upon people that are too drenched in material physical. So what is the expanse here is that this planet is being right now, in this very moment, being transcended into new life, to new earth, to a totally new experience for us all. Those of us who are aware enough and have chosen for ourselves to take that step within and start learning who and what we are, about who and what we are. Through the heart mind, and by doing that, you end up mastering the ego mind. The ego mind serves us a really good function. It's for us to discover how to master it. It's separate from the God that we are. Okay? It's an illusion. The mind is an illusion, created the ego as an illusion. Which are highly insecure. You can look at all the things on this planet throughout the past, and you can see it. You don't need special training for it. You can just see it and feel it. And, we have the opportunity to choose. Many have chosen to stay in material physical world, and so therefore they will leave the body, and then they will come back into another body and repeat the process until they get it. That's it. That's their cycle. How do you know? Right? Do you know how many lifetimes it's taking you to get where you're at right now? Well, let's put it this way. You're aware to a certain extent. So that means it took quite a few lifetimes for you to get to that point. To want to be. There might have been other lifetimes where you kind of knew, but didn't care to visit it. And when this civilization fully moves itself in by choice, okay, not by force, manipulation, deception, but pure choice within themselves, decides to go within spiritually and operate from the heart mind instead of the ego mind. Master the ego mind and master your thoughts. Then the ego mind falls away and the rest is history. And you know your thoughts and you know the ego mind thoughts. So you can identify yourself with the ego mind thoughts and say, okay, so I know this is an ego mind thought. I know what that means because this isn't my first rodeo, even in this life. So then you start realizing, and not out of fear, not out of anger. Remember, you're gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. But out of discovery, childlike curiosity. That you've discovered that, okay, so I am not the ego mind. And I'm beginning to be able to identify the thoughts that come in that I would normally just swish with, just embrace. I'm not going there. That's an ego mind thought. And it completely vanishes whenever you do that. You're not avoiding it. You just identified it. You don't care to go there because you've been there many times. And you say to yourself, how many times do I need to learn this? I've learned it through many lifetimes. I really have. So it's time for new things for me. It's time for new discoveries for me. A new life, a life that I choose, that I want to live. Not that the ego mind chooses. Holy moly, no way. This is how we're evolving into, seriously, serving each other, helping one another. Of course, you must have that done within yourself. And then you gravitate towards sharing the love that you are with everyone else around you. Great quote from Vedic Sage. And this This maybe it's perplexing to you at times on this planet. To not value the gift of a human incarnation is like trading a diamond for a head of cabbage. Right? Life is God. God is life. Life is the highest supreme value in the universes. See, the divine perfection of this universal orchestra is always on a perfect beat. It's continuously humming along, exploding into even more perfection, especially when we are in a bad mood and cannot see it, how or where it is happening. We are always within the womb of this universal beat, always connected with everyone, everywhere, and every dimension of time and space. You're connected with numerous dimensions and other people in those dimensions. This is all one. The astral plane separate. No, it's all one. The intimate connection that we have with all beings, no matter whether they are dead or alive, goes beyond all understanding and rationalization. That moment, you move into a perfect moment in time and space. Synchronicity explains it. The divine perfection, the perfect beat, always being in the womb of this perfect beat. When we open ourselves up to this possibility, which we are moving into, then each moment we are able to see the real truth. We know how every moment can only be a spiritual merging experience of universal synchronicity in our soul's destiny. Open your mind and heart to feel the connection with yourself, someone you know, or would want to know. Doesn't matter if they're very dead or very alive. Reach out to that wild free being who is somewhere in this universe. Just do it as an exploration to possibly awaken that same wild free being within you. Pick anyone who your heart would have a stretch beyond its normal limitations to open up and connect with them. Invite them in your heart space. Imagine that this individual is here now fully available to be with you in this moment. You can drop the doubting, skeptical mind by focusing on the vibration and feeling of trust. Let your heart relax to the experience. Reach into the emotional connection you most wish to have. I believe if you just practice this for even a few minutes, you'll be surprised to find out that something magical starts to happen. You may not realize the depth of the magic which arises initially, yet stick with it. For wherever attention goes, energy flows. Whatever experience you have is what was destined to happen. Anything can happen from just this simple intention and practice to break through the limitations of our doubtful, time-bound mind. The inner journey you'll have is completely worth it in the end. Question comes up a lot. How long does it take to reach liberation? It is not to be gained in the future. It is there forever, here and now. Realization is for everyone. Realization makes no difference between the aspirants this very doubt you have, whether you are realized or not, with the notion, I have not realized, are themselves the obstacles to realization. Be free from these obstacles. See who you truly are, from Maharishi. Once you, any of us, all of us, embrace the understanding that we are gods within these bodies, that these bodies actually carry us around so that we can experience material physical life, of which, collectively, we have created for ourselves in order to experience. We're master creators. We're master manifestors. It's built in. It's not an option. It's built in. We don't have any options. You know, like on a, remember years ago you'd have options on a vehicle and you'd order the different options and you'd have the options, right? Package A, B, whatever. With us, we've got the full boat, the kitchen sink. We always have. You may look at somebody and say, oh, they're much more powerful, smarter than me, blah, 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 blah. And they aren't. But if you're into the ego mind, then they are. You learn because you want to learn. Sometimes we learn, we don't know we're learning. And then because of this, through lifetimes, we move ourselves into a point of understanding where we open it all up. What's the difference between being in your vehicle, the body, and not? Well, not means that you are aware of the collective consciousness, of which you're part of. Which is what? Which is everything. And nothing. Which means you can plug into it any time you want as the God that you are. You can review any information, any knowledge, anything, anytime, anywhere, any place you choose. You could experience 1 billion lives all going on at the same time because you're part of the collective consciousness. That's it. You're part of the pure consciousness. You begin to realize through the heart-mind just how absolutely, supremely powerful you truly are. And then you also begin to realize that everything is temporary on this planet. Everything. It's all temporary. I'll leave you with a great quote with Osho. What is fear made of? Fear is made of ignorance of one's own self. I'll join you in meditation. I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose. And an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still. Unplug from this matrix. Unravel yourself by letting go of the desires, attachments, and aversions inside your mind. Let go of everything that you can think about in this world, in this universe, in your life. The matrix is your mind. Your mind is the matrix. Unplug yourself by thinking nothing. Just be empty of all thoughts. Ironically, this is where the only real freedom is found. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night, the following morning. We will return here Wednesday, June 19, 2024, a little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, and purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude at all times. No matter what's going on within or outside of you, open your heart, let the magic flow in.